Hello there, you beautiful people. So in the last few videos, you've been learning how to create and modify files and directories in all kinds of different ways. And when you're working with files in your computer, it's really easy to misplace one or two and wonder where an important file that's new to you, such a configuration file, might be hiding. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can use the locate command to actually search for files by name and find them no matter where they might be hiding on your computer or with the command line. Pretty cool, right? So we're going to break this up into two parts. In this video, you're going to learn how to use the locate command and some of its options, and you're also going to appreciate some of the limitations that the locate command can have. And then in the next video, the one after this one, you're going to learn how to overcome those limitations and also how to access administrator privileges on the system in order to update a database. So this is all going to be very cool stuff, very, very exciting. It's going to give you superpowers basically. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so the locate command is actually really simple to use, but it's very, very useful. Now, the first thing that you need to know about the locate command is that it works by searching a database file that's on your system. Now, this database holds location information about every file that's on your system. And the way that the locate command works is that you will give it some pattern to look for, and then locate will search the database for every path that matches that pattern and give it back to you on standard output. Now, this is actually really easy, so let's just jump right in and get a feel for how this works. Okay, so for example, let's try and find every file on our system that ends in .conf. Okay, now .conf is a file extension that is common on Linux to indicate that this file is an editable configuration file. Okay, and because file extensions don't really matter to Linux, Linux users and developers usually leave meaningful file extensions like .conf so that you can understand what the file might be about just from reading the file extension. .log is another common example, and it's used for log files that store error messages from programs and server applications. So you can look at these log files later on in case anything breaks and see where the stuff went wrong. Okay, but we're going to look at files that end in .conf. Okay, now to search for all the .conf files on our system, all we need to do is type the locate command and then give it the pattern we want to search for. Now, you should start remembering what we did about regular expressions and wildcards. So just think for a minute, how would you make a pattern that matched any file that ended in .conf? Just think about it for a second. And you might remember that perhaps you need to have the star, wildcard, and then .conf. This says anything that matches this pattern here, and so that means it can start with anything and then end in .conf. Okay, so this pattern will check for files that end in .conf. And that's actually all we need to do, right? So if we do that and press enter, whoa, right, you'll see like a whole bunch of different file paths come out, but you'll see that every single one of these files ends in .conf. Now, it's worth noting that by default, Linux is case sensitive, but you can make searches using the locate command case insensitive by giving the locate command the I option. So, for example, if we just clear the screen and we do locate and just say .conf but spell everything in uppercase, now you'll see that we actually get no results because Linux searched case sensitively. It had to be exactly everything in uppercase. Okay, but to make locate search in a case insensitive way, we could give the locate command the I option. And what this does is say, hey, don't worry about the case, I'm just looking for these letters. And when I do that, we get, again, files that end in .conf. Okay, so that's something to bear in mind there. And you can also limit the amount of results that you get. So we get hundreds of results coming out of this one. Look how many there are, a lot of configuration files. But if we clear the screen, we could say, okay, let's search in a case insensitive way, but let's limit the output to just 3 results. Okay, and you can see here that I am using the long form limit option. So we've got the 2 dashes, then the word limit, and then we give it its command line argument, which is 3. So this limit option has an input of 3. So when I do that, you can see that we are just limiting it to 3 results. If I change that to 5, we'll get 5 results. If I change that to 10, we will get 10 results, and so on and so on. So this is useful to, if you just want to get the first few results or you only want to find a few results, you can limit it like that as well. Now, the key consideration to have when using the locate command is to understand that it uses a database. In fact, you can actually find out information about the database using the capital S option. So if I clear the screen and we use locate and give it the capital S, the uppercase S option, I can press enter and you'll see that we get some information about the database itself. So it tells us the path to the database file, as well as some size about the general some information about the general size and complexity of the database. So I'm actually going to save this information using a redirect. So if I use locate S and I'm going to save that into something on our desktop, let's call it database before.txt. So there we are, we've got a file called database before.txt on our desktop with all that information saved in it. Okay. So you can see redirection is actually a very useful skill and you'll just use it all the time. And you should be proud. Now you understand how to use it as if it's nothing, right? So this database, just like any other database, is only useful if the information in it is up to date. Okay, now the database by default is updated just once a day. So this means that anything that happens in the meantime is not logged in the database. Files could have been created, moved, deleted, and unless the database is updated, then the locate command will start to give incorrect results. Now, there are a few options that come with the locate command to help minimize this issue. They can't make the database list files that haven't been added to it yet because that's impossible, but they can prevent the locate command from showing files that have been deleted in the meantime or links that no longer work. For example, there is the E option that requires the locate command to check that the file is existing before it reports it back. So for example, if we did locate with the E option of everything that ends in .conf, then this would check the database for all files that ended in .conf, but also do a check to make sure that those files actually existed before reporting them, rather than just taking it from the database directly. It will take them from the database, but also do a check to make sure that they are there. So it gives you that extra bit of assurance. There is a long form option for the E option. So instead of typing -E, you could type --existing, okay? And that does exactly the same thing. So that's very, very useful stuff. And sometimes there are shortcuts and links on your system called symbolic links that might be broken if files get moved around. Now, to check whether these shortcuts and links are still valid before the locate command reports them back, you can use the capital L or the follow option like this. So locate, follow, everything that ends in .conf. For this, so if there are any symbolic links or if there are any links to files, it will check that they aren't just dangling, they actually arrive somewhere, arrive to the right place before reporting it back. So that's another bit of assurance, and of course you can do both at the same time. So existing and follow gives you basically the maximum assurance you can get there. And again, you can combine it with case insensitivity and limit it to just show 5. You can combine all these options, showing you here just how powerful the Linux command line can be to have multiple different functions going at the same time. Now, these safety features are all well and good, but what we really need to solve our problem is to have a way to update the database whenever we like. And there is. It's called the update DB command, and for the purposes of time, we're going to cut the video here and pick up learning how to update the database in the next video. So I'll see you there.